overnight camps will remain closed. Unfortunately, we just can't have camps with 500 kids living together right now.
That was the overnight camps. That was the word from the Premier yesterday. Now, day camps, maybe, possibly for July and August, but that hasn't been decided yet. So look at these pictures. Sailing, canoeing, the swimming lessons, all the valuable lessons, crafts, the cabins, the friendships, the incredible sunsets and campfires. That camp experience that so many look forward to and have for generations. Not going to happen this year. And it's well worth spending some time on. So let's do that with Polly Hodbetts, who's the director and owner of Camp Hurontario on Hurontario Island, one of the beautiful 30,000 islands in Georgian Bay. There she is at camp. And Polly, thank you for being our guest this morning. I'm glad to see you there today.
My pleasure.
Oh, my goodness. Normally there'd be so many kids all around you there, and it's not going to be this summer. I know family members of kids who were just bracing for the word and dreading the worst. What about you? What have these last weeks been in anticipation of the announcement yesterday?
Well, I think the big thing is that everybody sort of was working hard in the hopes that maybe there might be a possibility for the camps to open. The Ontario Camps Association was constantly in contact with the public health authorities and the government, hoping that the challenges of having a wonderful group of kids and staff together might not be too much for this awful COVID virus. But when it came down to it, after long weeks of waiting and planning and hoping, it was just not to be this summer.
Well, it seems pretty tough to think about campfires and kids in a cabin and all of those things that come with it. I mean, what did you look at? What kind of plan Bs did you entertain to try to make it happen?
Well, I think that the big thing is that, logistically camps are built and their mission statement is to bring kids together. So we all sort of started to try and think, now, how could we bring our kids together at this time and still have, as you said, those wonderful campfires, those crazy meals in the dining hall. And so there were scenarios that perhaps we would have fewer campers, fewer staff members, and just have a smaller camp. There was the idea that maybe we would have just shortened sessions so that we could get as many of the kids to come to camp and do it just in week sessions. I think a lot of us hoped that maybe August might be a possibility just because it was distant and giving us that much more time. So those were some of the scenarios that we sort of went over and over with our staff and hoping that there might be a possibility and that the challenges wouldn't be too great to open up our camps.
And then when the final word came and you'd run out of options and the Premier announced that final decision, how did you feel?
I felt sad. Because camp is such a wonderful experience for kids and for us and for staff. I mean, we've had staff at Hurontario who've been here for 8, 9, 10 years, and we knew this is going to be tough on them. It's going to be tough on our wonderful campers, some coming for their first experience and adventure. So it was sort of a disappointment, but certainly all for the better because we know that the priority is first and foremost the health and the safety of our camp community, and it would have been tough. It would have been tough. And so if this is the decision that's come down, this is a decision that is based on science, and we'll have to live with it and look forward to 2021.
I want to talk about the future with you in just a second, but in terms of consequences economically, this is your family business, been in the family for 73 summers. What kind of a blow is this economically?
Well, economically, it's extremely difficult. There's no two ways around it. Camps make all of their funds and their money is made within a very short period of time, and yet we run basically our camps and our offices for a full year. So I think financially it's going to be pretty hard, and sort of facing that reality is something that we'll have to come to terms with. And have to hope that through our government that's been good about thinking about seasonal camps and seasonal businesses, that there will be some kind of financial assistance to get us over this really tough time. There's no doubt about it. We are a 12-month business, but we earn in 2 months.
And you mentioned the staff, of course, that will affect them. I'm thinking of the young counselors who are there for their summer work experience, for leadership training. But let's talk about the campers for just a second. Maybe it has to have been in your blood. Maybe you can tell from how my questions are that I loved camp experiences growing up, and it has to, it's such a formative experience. Time away at camp, Polly, it can be for children. So for the campers not to have what they've been looking for, especially in the midst of all the change in their COVID-19 school years, and then not to have these experiences, what do you think the impact will be?
I think for kids who've had the experience and campers who've been to camp, I think it's going to be huge. Our daughter, who's a teacher, said that when kids heard the news, they were in tears, saying, "Oh, no, not my camp, not my camp." And I think that kids are going to find it something hard to accept because they've counted on it. It's something that kids count on throughout the whole year and think about seeing their camp friends whom they only meet at camp, perhaps sometimes. And just the getting out, the fresh air and the out of doors and the wonderful ability just to be themselves. All of those good things kids are going to be thinking about and knowing that they're going to miss them. They're really going to miss them, and they're going to miss their pals and their friends on the staff whom they look up to and they so look forward to seeing. So it'll be tough on our kids.
It will. It's been getting them through in so many ways. Yeah. I know you're doing things online, which is fantastic, virtual campfires and things I need to tell people about. But tell me a little bit about, I just have to let you go, Polly, but I do want to look ahead to 2021. What do you see for next summer? Are there things that you plan to do to make sure that there will be a camp in 2021, or what does the future look like for you?
Yes, I think, Heather, that's a good question. I think one of the things is that we will do a lot of training of staff during the year because we've missed this summer and the opportunity to do that. I think another thing for 2021 is for us to look to our camp community, to our parents, and to get them ready and let them know that we're going to be going ahead as we always have, and that we'll start to plan programs now. We'll start to think about things that we can do and that'll add a different sort of zip to the camp, perhaps, for kids coming back. We'll start to, for sure, make sure our programs are all up and running, maintain the camp. It's a big piece of property at Hurontario, so we'll want to make sure that's all ready as we look to the 2021 season with our parents and with our campers, and certainly keeping in touch and getting our staff trained to get ready for that experience next summer.
Well, hopefully you'll be gathered around the campfire in 2021. I know camp has never shut down in your family business until now, so that's pretty tough. But thank you very much. We'll look to the future with you. Thank you for the time this morning, Polly. I really appreciate it. Polly Hodbetts.
Thanks, Heather.
You're welcome.